Campaign for public office can sometimes turn pretty nasty, but tell us one or two things that you admire about your opponent. I'll let John start this time.
He starred me.
That's one.
No,
Go ahead.
Drew's a decent guy. If he defeats me, Hillsboro's not going to go down the tube. That's basically it. I admire Drew that he has come into the community and is trying to do the best. But I would have preferred to see him come in and serve on council for a while and learn the workings of local government before he goes for the big banana.
Drew, one or two things you admire about John?
I admire that he's been involved in so many things over the years. I mean, I think that's admirable that he has been involved in whether it's civic organizations or council, city government. I think now just having a taste of being involved with it and going to council meetings and just being involved in the whole process gives me a whole new appreciation for it, not only for its time but its responsibilities, and I have a great respect for that.
You often talk about your desire to bring what you call agritainment to Hillsboro. Things like corn mazes and bale trails. Specifically, who is going to create that? And how does that help Hillsboro economically?
Well, I'll tell you how it helps Hillsboro economically. How does Gatlinburg, Tennessee help Gatlinburg, Tennessee? Now, Gatlinburg, Tennessee may not be your cup of tea. Some people love to go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And Gatlinburg, Tennessee, people could go down there and say, well, you could do this town better. But Gatlinburg, Tennessee is a destination. Now, am I presuming that we make Hillsboro a destination like Gatlinburg, Tennessee? No, I am not. But what I'm saying is you can market to bring vacationers or day visitors to an area. Agritainment is not something I made up. I do a lot of advocacy and a lot of speaking around the country with livestock and agricultural groups. And agritainment is something that's being done all around the United States. This isn't something I invented. All I'm doing is trying to take it and make it work for us because we have a strong farm ag background. I think it could be incorporated into the Festival of the Bells very easily. I think there are other festivals and events that we could put on that would include agritainment items. We've certainly got the background and the wherewithal and the people to do it.
Specific question for Drew. We can move on to a specific question for you.
I've seen agritainment work in other communities. North Platte, Nebraska has a fantastic corn maze. And even here locally, Bob Blair down south of Hillsboro and his annual corn maze. It can work. It's not an out of the question I did.
No, and I will add, it's one very small piece of a large puzzle of economic development. I mean, we don't hang our hat on corn mazes.
John, Drew has said that the EPA is crushing us with regulations. He has said that if elected, he would do more to question the EPA and resist its mandates. Is that a realistic approach?
I have yet to see anybody crush the federal government. Try getting on an airplane without having your shoes taken off. Try not paying your income taxes sometime. Try renovating a public building and ignoring ADA regulations. Try putting a radio station on the air without a license from the government. We are over-regulated, and we have to comply, or the penalties are massive. Ask Russ Newman, the county commissioner, about the fines Highland County had to pay. Ask other communities around the state and around the nation. The Time magazine, October 3rd edition, says that in the next 20 years, the EPA mandating is going to be over $400 billion worth of sewer and wastewater runoff for the United States. We can't avoid it. Hillsboro right now, thank goodness, is in the initial stages of complying, so we're not going to be fined.
Drew? The EPA, how do you deal with it when it comes in and says you've got to spend millions on it?
Well, assuming the figure that John just gave, about $400 billion across America, I mean, that's a perfect example. You know, I think in a way, my comments at that town meeting made it sound like I was a wild-eyed zealot that somehow wanted to abolish the EPA. I think that's a little untrue. I think you have to work within the system. I don't believe that I believe I'm a more skeptical person. I'm a baby boomer. I came out of the late 60s, early 70s, and I believe in questioning things. I question authority. And I believe you look at things. We are over-regulated, whether it's by the FDA, whether it's, you know, they'd like to register all of our livestock, like automobiles, register every single piece of livestock in this country, which would crush the livestock industry. The EPA, you know, you can liken it in a way to unions. And I've seen that analogy, I read it somewhere today, where there was a time, I mean, I was in the 70s, a lot of you who were here, pollution was bad. We had a lot of smog, and we had a lot of cars driving around with blue smoke coming out their exhausts. You know, but we've gotten rid of a lot of that over the last few years. And I think, though, I think the EPA had done the lion's share of what it was originally intended to do, and probably still needs to do things, but it's gotten way out of control. And whether or not our specific problem with the EPA can be addressed or dealt with or modified, I don't know. But I would certainly look at it.